Hey, Eddie Bells here, and thanks for joining me. And I got something I want to share with you that really changed my life some years ago. Actually, it was back in 2003. Oh my God, it literally revolutionized my entire life. And it's this book right here called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Lots of you guys have probably heard of it, but many people may or may not have read it. Matter of fact, it says, "What the rich teach their kids about money that the poor and middle class do not," by Robert Kiyosaki. Old book, you can get it anywhere. But I'm just going to share just a couple things that I really learned from this book a handful of years ago, because I'm telling you, it literally changed not only the way I think, but the way I live my life, and just a lot of the decisions that I make as well. There's certain things that I just won't do because of some things that I learned in this book that have completely changed my life. So anyway, let's just jump right in. I was taught like most people, go to school, get good grades, get a good job, hopefully get some benefits, and retire with the good life. Well, the good life is being promised, but it's so far and few nowadays, right? The average person doesn't stay at a job for more than 5 to 7 years. The average person can't stand their job. And I'm not here bashing jobs, but I just want to teach you something that I learned, because even if you own a successful business, there's some philosophy that you want to have that I got from this book that have really catapulted and changed some things for me. So the way it's taught in the book is that you have this quadrant, right? And you have, on this side, you have the employee. And, don't get me wrong, if you're an employee, you're going to earn a certain amount of income, and typically it won't go past a certain amount because, see, you're bought at wholesale and sold at retail. What does that mean? That means that if you're making $50,000 a year, that's what they're paying you, but you're producing for them maybe $1 million a year, maybe $200,000 a year, because they can't afford to keep you if they're paying you what if they're paying you what you're producing for them. You get what I'm saying? So you have to be producing a whole lot more for them to pay you $50,000. So that's the E, right? Employee. So then you have people who say, look, I want to get away from this. I'm tired of somebody owning how much I can make and owning my time, right? So I'm going to be self-employed. I'm going to do it myself. So then they become what's called a self-employed person. And that is great. But this is not really freedom, and freedom and success. My definition of success is it goes something like this. Having enough resources and time to be able to do what you're called to do in life, right? Having enough resources and time. So if you have the resources, but you don't have the time to be able to do it, the thing that you're called to do in life, then in my book, you may not be successful, right? Now, everyone has their own definition of success, right? But what I'm saying is, you want to have the money and the time, not just the time or the money, but you want to have both of them together. So anyway, you have the person that's an employee, and they become a self-employed. Now, here's the deal: this person, an employee, they work a job, right? So then you have the person that says, look, I'm going to own my own business. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to be self-employed, and I'm going to be in control of myself. And that's a great way to think. But what happens is this person ends up not working a job. They end up owning a job. Meaning if this person, it's usually just them. And if they stop working, they stop getting paid. And this could be somebody who is a plumber, who has their own plumbing business, and they're just doing it all by themselves. This could be somebody who, it could be a highly successful attorney that makes a multiple six-figure income, right? It could be a big-time doctor. But guess what? If you are the Michael Jordan at your job, that's called scary, because that means if you stop working, you stop getting paid. And whenever they need the best surgeon, guess who they're going to call? You, which means they're always going to be tied to what you can do. There was a story about a gentleman, and he was a high-time surgeon, a big-time surgeon, right? And he made a multiple six-figure income. And what happened was, unfortunately, he started to get arthritis in his hands. And so, month after he got the arthritis, what happened was his house ended up being in foreclosure. Well, Why would you say that would happen? I mean, wasn't he making a multiple six-figure income? Yes, but his income was only attached to what he physically could do with his hands. So our goal is to get your income where it's not attached to what you physically do, but to have income that comes in regardless of what you do, right? And we weren't taught this stuff in school, so it's okay if you didn't know, because I didn't know, right? That's why I'm so thankful that I read this book, 15, 16 years ago. It literally revolutionized my life. And so you go from working a job to owning a job, right? But that's not really where you want to be. Now, yes, you'll make a lot more money here, but you won't have as much time here because, again, if you don't work, you don't get paid for the most part. You get what I'm saying? So you want to move over to this side, which is what we call the B and the I side. You want to move to the B quadrant. This person doesn't work a job and they don't own a job. What they own is a system. And they have other people on this system, and those people work that system and it produces a profit. You get what I'm saying? Now, the exciting thing about this person on this side is that they don't work with, they don't earn their income based on what they physically do themselves. You get what I'm saying? They have a lot of people who work with them to do some things, and it produces a profit from them working that system. Like McDonald's. You're familiar with McDonald's, obviously. They have a system. Whether you like them or not, they have a system. And it's the same no matter where you go in the world. Australia, Texas, Florida, or New Zealand. The fries are always going to be on the left. It's the system, right? I used to work there a long time ago, so I know that system. You don't even have to know how to cook fries. You know why? Because a buzzer will tell you when it's done. You put them in, and then when it's done, boom, they're done, right? So you don't have to inspect them and say, they're not brown enough. No, the buzzer is going to tell you. That's the system, right? If you want a filet-o-fish sandwich, I don't even know if they still sell that, because I don't, eat at McDonald's, but here's the deal. Nothing wrong with McDonald's, but I just don't eat there. But here's the deal. The filet-o-fish sandwich is usually, back when I used to be there, it was in a blue wrapper, right? And it's always going to be in a blue wrapper no matter where you go in the world, right? So this person owns a system like a McDonald's. Now, it doesn't have to be a McDonald's. There are lots of other systems that you can own or operate that can produce the same similar type of profit, right? And then once you have enough cash flow, then you can move into an investor where you're making money with the business, but then you have your money making money. You get what I'm saying? So this might be something like stocks, bonds, maybe you might buy businesses, maybe you might buy real estate, and things like that. Does that make sense? So, of course, my point is our goal is to be on this side of the quadrant. Now, I'm going to end it with this here because this is another big aha moment, right? The only way you can move here physically is if you move there first mentally. You get what I'm saying? So you'll never get there until your mind gets there first. So like on this side, they're thinking it'll only get done if I do it. Me and I, right? That's the only way things will get done is if I do it. If me, right? If it is to be, it's up to me. But on this side, it's more about a team, right? So it's more about a team. It's more about systems. It's more about culture. You get what I'm saying? There's no I in team. It's all about us. It's more like us, right? There's leadership, right? So these are all some mindsets that you want to start adopting and learning and growing so that you can start leading people who work a system that produces a profit for you. And, then you're able to live the life that you want to live and not the life that you have to live. Because now you have an income, I like to say, that's stalking you, right? Because your income is not attached physically to what you personally do, but your income is attached to this system that you have a bunch of people working this system. And they say a big business is typically when you have about 500 employees or more, right? And so, that's pretty exciting to even think about, to have people working a system. If you think about some of the companies hey, maybe the company that you work for, you have a boss, and they have a boss, and they have a boss, and they have a boss, and there's somebody who you never see show up to work, but they own the company, right? That's because they're off on the golf course, and they have a bunch of people, i.e. you maybe, or maybe, people who work there, working that system. Hey, and there's nothing wrong with that. Here's the deal. There's nothing wrong with a job at all. What I always say is it's a great place to start, but a bad place to finish. And why not have a job, like we talked about in the last video, the Jewish phenomenon? They teach their children as they grow up to think an entrepreneur mindset, right? And so a job, again, is a great place to start, but a bad place to finish. And instead of working full-time on your job, start to think about working part-time on your fortune. I always say it this way: what you do from 5 to 9 will dictate what you do from 9 to 5. So if you want something different to happen with your 9 to 5 time frame, then change the things that you're doing from your 5 to 9 time frame, right? Right. So that's a very key thing to know. But again, I just wanted to share this with you because, look, if you want to get on this side and you want to have the mindset of all these things, right, so that you can start building this type of lifestyle, so that you can work the way you want to live and not the way you have to live. See, all of them earn income. It's just about how they earn their income. And this side right here is the side. So great book to read if you haven't read it. Rich Dad, Poor Dad literally changed my life, and I'm so excited about it. And so let me just say this too as I end. Typically we're taught that franchises is the way to go to do something like this, and it was, and it still is, but that's if you have money to start a franchise, right? Which most people don't, right? The average franchise is anywhere from $10,000 all the way up to $1 million, right? So you almost have to have a lot of money up front to kind of have that. But there is a way where you can have a system like this where you don't have to spend a lot of money. I'm talking less than going to the movies or going out of town or something like that. Less than a pair of shoes, and you can literally put yourself in a position where you can own a system like this that starts to produce a profit, and you build it to a point where your money's working for you instead of you working for it. And by the way, if you're somebody here that's paying attention and you like to know how you can get a system like this for yourself, and start to build something like this and move to this side, just feel free to reach out to me, and I love to chat with you more about that. But hey guys, listen, I'm excited. It's February 1st. Can you believe it's already February 1st? This year is gonna fly by. So set your goals and decide where you want to be by the end of the year, instead of looking up in December and saying, where did the year go, right? So you set the measurements of where you want your year to go. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Eddie Bales here. God bless. If you like it, just share it, comment, whatever. But thanks for all the love, guys. Appreciate you. God bless.